Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. We're continuing on. This is the week of January the 14th to the 21st, I believe. So we're also continuing on with the energy of Pluto, but I'm being told to put this in a completely different perspective for somebody on here. And I know this perspective has been helpful for me. I'm going to come at this from the perspective of dimensions, because that's usually what I attune to and I logically understand, and helps me to put my own puzzle pieces together, is moving through the different dimensional aspects. Just to recap for those of you who are new to my channel, dimensions are simply perspectives. When we look from a different dimension, we're actually looking from a different perspective. We are actually operating multi-dimensionally all the time. Most people are just unaware of this. The more attuned or expanded your consciousness becomes, the more you become aware of all those different perspectives. And there's new level, new doubles, what I'm hearing. So with each perspective that you come to or open to or have awareness of or transcend from one perspective into another, there's like a whole other learning aspect. And I'm being told to, wow, I did not expect this. I was going to do a separate channel on this, but they're connected. Let me tell you, says one of my guides, they're connected. So there's the energy of the fledgling. So when I think about personal growth, and I think about building and making things and creating things and moving from one state of being to another, or choosing to move to a new level, I automatically, so here I am on this level, I've moved through the transcendent state of this level, and when I move up a level, I'm suddenly the fledgling again. Now I'm using the word fledgling because for the last year, I want to say, if not, I feel longer, it's been longer, there has been a projection of somebody and a commentary about being a fledgling. Every time we transcend a layer of ourselves, our own personal journey, I know I'm now stepping into, yes, I've mastered that and completed that, and I'm now stepping into the fledgling stage where I don't know this, and I have to acclimate, or I have to readjust, or go back into student mode. So it's like going through the mode of student, apprentice, whatever it is, teacher, and then moving back into student, apprentice, teacher. So when we're talking about multi-dimensions, every time you attune to or graduate, is what I'm hearing, or elevate into another level or dimensional perspective or understanding, you automatically are stepping into fledgling mode. The projection that comes through with the word fledgling is a very talking down kind of an energy. And I feel like this will be relevant for somebody on here. You've had somebody in your life who every time you try to elevate, this energy shows up and it's hidden. It's like not obvious. For some of you, it's very obvious, like a father figure or something like that. It's very obvious. But for some of you, this is a hidden energy that is intentionally trying to make you go down under this understanding that you're less than, or make you doubt yourself. So not only are you dealing with your own doubts, you're actually dealing with somebody who's projecting doubt onto you, which is compounding, which is making it more difficult and confusing for you. Just clear your energy, whoever that is for, and do it all the time. Side note, I have to do that all the time too. And it's directly in reference to this negative connotation. Like, we have a perspective in the grand scheme. Look at the world, right? We look at people who are famous or athletes or doing something spectacular. I'm getting a basketball player, so maybe one of you play basketball or you're connected to that in some way, shape, or form. We look at them and we think they're gods because they're doing this and they've done all that. But you didn't see all the fledgling states they had to go through to get there. So we have this idea in general Western society, at least, that it's a bad thing, or it's shameful, or it's embarrassing to be at a fledgling state or to not know. Friends, every time I do sessions with people, I have to enter it not knowing. I have to share information that I should not know, and I have to go out on a wing, literally, and share this information. I have to be in a state of, I don't know, spirit deliver the information through me, and then I can move around the session, if that makes sense. So literally every day I have to go into a state of not knowing. I have to be a student every time I show up. And the funny part is people's perspective is, oh, she knows how to do that and she knows it. I only know it because I've given that to the divine, allowing them to move and work through me fully and completely. I'm being referenced. We don't change the message changes us. And that has both positive and negative connotations. There'll be another channel on that in the future because it's highly relevant for subliminal messaging, patterning, social conditioning, familial patterning, ancestral. That has to do with that too. It's both liberating, but it can also be enslaving. It works both ways, just as in anything. So let's go back to the fledgling. Every time that I master something and I move on to something new, like this is creator mode. And I feel like creators understand that at every stage of the game, when you step onto a new stage, you're stepping into the fledgling mode and you're stepping into creator mode. And sometimes that's really, really difficult to do when we know we've mastered a lot of stuff that a lot of other people haven't mastered. This is difficult to do when we feel like we have it all figured out and we finally feel safe, only to discover, I got all this other stuff I gotta learn. So it's like continually moving through the ascension, the layers. We master a step and then we step on to the next step where we're a fledgling again, right? We're a fledgling for this new step. And then we master that step and then we move to the next step. Oh, look at that. We're stepping into fledgling state again. So I also feel like this is for somebody who's really hesitating on stepping forward into their purpose. Like you feel like you don't know enough. What if you don't get it right? But you're not a master at it yet. But there's all these but, and all these doubts and fears of being a fledgling. Listen, if I told you half the stories of me being a fledgling, your jaw be on the floor by this point, because I know I am too. And I'm again moving into that stage because I know I'm going to learn a lot. I know there's a pearl there. I know that means I get to master it, but I don't get to master something if I don't move through the student stages, if I'm not willing to be a fledgling. And I know fledglings has a reference of flying out of the nest, or I'm hearing flying the coop, or whatever it is, however that resonates for you. But it's almost like the negative connotation of a fledgling that somebody would give to you is trying to make you stay in the nest. What's the purpose of this message, Spirit? A fledgling is meant to fly. And when they are afraid to fall, when they are afraid of getting it wrong, when they are afraid to not know, because when the bird is in the nest, they don't know what it's like to fly. They don't know because they haven't done it yet. And that's what makes it so scary. So guess what happens when you have family, when you have partners, when you have people around you who are being like, oh no, you need to stay in there. You're just a fledgling. You're not ready. I'm seeing, wow, I feel like this is somebody for a mother dynamic. It's almost like there's an imbalance that's happening right now where they're trying to keep you in the nest. Not because they don't want to see you fly, but that means that their life changes when you do. They don't want to be potentially negatively impacted when you go and fly away, if that makes sense. This is also true for somebody's relationship. Somebody is dimming, densing, projecting dark things like, oh, all this stuff. And you're taking it in as if, okay, no, I'm not ready to fly, but you are, says Spirit, but you are. And recognize that anyone that tries to makes you feel like you can't, makes you feel less than, makes you feel like you're not ready, makes you have all these things, despite the fact that your heart's like, no, I want to do this. No, I want to go. It's almost like I'm being told, let me tell you, I'm being told to share the message with you specifically. You're ready to fly. And those that don't want you to fly, it's because if you do, they will have to move in a different direction or take ownership for themselves. And that is the reason they don't want you to fly. It's not even about you. It's about holding on to your energy, what you're doing, how you do it, because they know that when your energy is with them, they're okay. But the second that you fly away, you're no longer hidden. You're no longer under their thumb, under control, right? You've now taken back your inner power and you're soaring, which is unfortunate because I feel like this is a lot of parental dynamics and a lot of relationship dynamics for people, whether it's through friendships, romantic, life partners, familial, parent-child. I feel like a lot of people go through this experience for the simple fact that when you're with somebody and you know what the dynamic is, and it's always been this way, but one piece of the half, one piece of the dynamic decides I'm going this way and I'm doing this, if this other piece subconsciously knows, well, I need you to be like this so I can stay like this, they are going to try and dim you down in some way, try and make you feel less than, because then you're going to stay and they can continue this dynamic. This is one of the polarizations that's happening right now, specifically with this Pluto energy. So for example, if somebody is always dictating what you do, when you do, how you do it, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, that's going to be highlighted, or you might find that they're really pushed in your energy right now, or something from the past shows up in relation to that. You may find this. It's literally so that you can stand your ground, stand your boundaries and say, no, actually, I'm doing this for me. And guess what? When I fly, not only is our energy dynamic going to change, somebody you're going to be separating completely from whoever this is. And it needs to happen so that you can fly. I'm hearing the divine is not allowing anything or anyone to hold you back, because there's something that you're doing that is needed. It is what you came here to do. And I also feel like this is not your first lifetime where somebody has stopped you from doing what you came to do. And that's not happening in this lifetime, because we're in the Great Awakening. This is the leap year. Side note, year of the dragon. It's the number 8, which is infinity. All these things line up so beautifully. They are all interconnected. What are you doing? You're leaping from the nest into flight, right? So I feel like whoever this energy is, or this person or dynamic you're having, they're actually manipulating the energy so that you don't take flight, so that they can keep the status quo. But here's the thing, we are breaking barriers. There are groundbreaking things happening at this time. And when I say groundbreaking, I mean root foundation breaking. And you're here to break it for yourself. And I don't know why, but it's like this energy is constant. It's relentless. It's always there. That's what it feels like. No matter how much you clear your energy, it just keeps coming back. You've got a higher power every second, every minute, every day, every hour. You have to really sit down, hunker down, and focus on that spiritual connection that you have cultivated or developed. Focus on your power. Even though we have things happen outside of us that we don't have any control over, we do have control over our inner power. Somebody once said to me, you choose who you allow into your energy. And it was like this light bulb went off. That's right. I do get to choose that. But oftentimes when that happens and we start to choose that, what are we faced with? All this other stuff. I'm not sure why we're going on to that, but I feel like this is in relation to the person who's trying to do their purpose and is struggling to do that. The fledgling is what I'm hearing. The fledgling of it is, what is that? I can't really place it. It's almost like it's getting, I'm seeing somebody on their knees like, I was mistaken. I was mistaken. I was mistaken. That's what I'm hearing. And the reason somebody isn't flying is not because they cannot fly. Somebody's going to suddenly realize the reason that somebody isn't flying is because of them, specifically, because of their energy, because of their manipulations, because of their interference, trying to make themselves feel safe or make themselves feel right. Stopped somebody else from flying, negatively impacted them. And side note, this is the time frame where whoever that person who's trying to take flight suddenly realizes it or suddenly understands it, and so does the person who's trying to make them stay as a fledgling. So this is very interesting, and I feel that energy lift as this is coming through. It's really fascinating. So again, this can come in the dynamic of a teacher and a student. It can come in that dynamic. It can come in the dynamic of a parent and a child, or a child and a parent. It can come in the dynamic of relationships with our spouses. It can come in relationship dynamics with our work and peers. It can come in any type of a relationship or dynamic, because we're interacting with people. And I'm also being told to tell somebody, this is something 3. I don't know, the number 3 is coming up. Either you've been dealing with it for 3 years. This is the 3rd time that they've tried to come back. There's just something about the number 3 in relationship to this. And I'm also getting the number 33, and I'm seeing the card Heaven Sent intuitively. So let me just find that card, because it's very important. It's taking back your personal power. What's the concept of Christ consciousness? It's personal power. Oh, here's the card right here. That's the card I'm seeing. I hope you can see that. It is card number 33. It's heaven sent. That is a stunning, beautiful card. Notice it is you controlling your mind rather than other people negatively influencing, interfering, or dimming it down. You'll notice when you come to the focus in the center, all the energy moves out, which shields and removes all those other interferences that are trying to project in. And I'm also being told to have compassion because some people don't even realize that's what they're doing. They're just not aware that that's even what's happening. Eye opener, rude awakening is coming in again. They're just not aware that that's what's happening. And there's many times on my journey, friends, where there's things where I think it's one thing, but all of a sudden there's like this realization that comes in. It's like, hold on, that wasn't what I thought it was. It was actually this over here. And it's shocking. It can be shocking. Revelation is what I am hearing. Revelations. 33 heaven sent. I'm going to read this card. Yes, yes. My guide is saying yes. There is somebody on here who needs to hear this. And I feel like it's in direct reflection of whatever we've been talking about. I don't know that to be true, but I guess we'll find out when we'll read the card because that's what I'm sensing. Just as we receive gifts, heaven sent, just as we receive gifts in the physical world through the thoughtfulness of others to acknowledge how much we mean to them, so too do we receive gifts on other levels, including spiritual gifts, the spiritual level. A spiritual gift is something that happens through grace. We can ask for help, and it may be given in response to that request, because all requests for help are answered. A spiritual gift can also be given without us asking for anything at all, at least not consciously. Sometimes it is our hearts that cry out for help while we are busy getting on with our to-do lists. We don't often stop to think about what our hearts might need. And if we do, and an immediate solution is not obvious, we just get on with life, either letting the issue be or taking the more painful option of dwelling on it without seeing how it might be resolved. Somebody is really focused on the problem rather than surrendering to allow the solution come in. And the second you surrender, the solution just drops in. That's somebody who's having a lot of resistance, it feels like. However, there is a loving benevolence in life that knows exactly what we need and how it can best come to us, even when we are not quite so clear. This force actively seeks to assist us in walking our life path. That loving sweetness is being offered to you now, or soon will be, in the form of a spiritual gift. Oh, that makes me excited. Your spiritual gift may be symbolic. It may be something that seems ordinary, but holds a lot of meaning to you. It might be an object that catches your eye and mesmerizes you. You might think you are appreciating how lovely it looks, but it is actually the underlying energy that is capturing you. There's something in the appearance, the color, or shape that is speaking to you and is perhaps answering your unspoken prayers. It is not the object that is the gift. That is just the wrapping. The actual gift is subtle, yet effective empowerment. It is like a spiritual booster shot that helps you move forward in life with additional zing, extra strength, and greater peace. You will be empowered to accomplish tasks that you may have nearly, but not quite, been able to manage on your own through the bestowal of a spiritual gift. And for some, the spiritual gift may or may not even be recognizable to you. It may be very obvious, an offer, a windfall, a trip, a friendship, a new lover, or a remarkable healing in a current relationship. It may also be far more subtle and even more powerful, such as a jolt of energy that allows you to perceive things differently all of a sudden, and perhaps solve a problem that has been plaguing you. I'm hearing in a karmic cycle is what I'm hearing, in a karmic cycle. This gift will be bestowed as and when it is needed. in the form that will best serve the love in you for the greatest evolution, is what I am hearing. So clearly somebody on here is getting a spiritual gift who struggled with a karmic cycle, which is in relationship to this fledgling energy or this projection of somebody else's energy, a dynamic, which is a karmic cycle, which is just simply learning lessons about personal power and all those amazing things that can sometimes feel messy and ugly and yucky. But I'm being told very specifically that know that this gift is coming. Know that you are receiving it. Allow yourself to receive the gift. If you're continually pushing against things not working, it has to be a certain way, or it's the same as it's always been, how are you going to receive the gift? This is an important message. It's often in the surrender, allowing yourself to receive the spiritual gifts that are being bestowed on you because you've earned it, is what I am hearing for whoever this is. So just know, some of you have already experienced this. This is just your confirmation. If you're dealing with that and struggling to step forward, get your feet under you, we're trying to use an old key for a new door. The old key isn't going to fit. It fits for the old door. You need a new key for the new door to walk through the new door. And I feel like that's the spiritual gift somebody is being given here or highlighted for you. Everybody's is going to be different, but just know that 33 is a master number, heaven sent. There are spiritual gifts just being gifted to everyone because everyone deserves to receive gifts. Spiritual gifts, we think that they're for the few, but they're for the many. You have to be willing to allow yourself to receive it. And don't judge the form that it shows up in. Sometimes angels come in the most unexpected forms, and sometimes they come in a form where you're like, that is not an angel, and this is where it took me. Technically, angels can show up in there too, and they took you to that place so that you could have freedom. So don't judge a book by its cover. Never underestimate the power of you or the power of the divine, because you are the divine incarnate. And I'm excited for all of you to receive your spiritual gifts and the energy that goes along with it, the new shift in perspective. That's also part of the Pluto energy I wish to highlight there. You'll notice the Pluto energy, we're highlighting all those deep truths, and we need those deep truths to have a different perspective. And I'm going to leave this channel at that. So congratulations on receiving your spiritual gift or the spiritual gift. Know that it is coming. Until next time, beautiful souls.